this is the bundle. It is the Penguin Place stamp set, and you see that you've got these cute little penguins. You've got a front-facing one and a sideways one, and then you have a little snowdrift or a hill, and then you have faces and little hats and presents and antlers and things that you can put on top of the penguins. And then you've got the punch, which of course coordinates with the penguin, and it's got the little feet. Now the bundle is available through the end of December. And then the papers, though, are only available during September, and these can't be purchased. They are a free gift with your purchase. The fun thing about these papers, first of all, I only have this much of this one left, so you just see a little sample of this one, is these images, this image particularly here, coordinates with the punch. So you can just punch out that little image, and I'll show you some samples with that later. But then also these little guys, the fox and the polar bear and the snowman, you can just scissor cut those out as well as use them for background papers. And then the back side, let me flip these ones around, have similar prints. But you can also see that the other side has these more solid prints. So even if, you know, penguins aren't your thing, or you don't want something too wintry, like this one is still just very general, very, very general. And you can still just use the other side for different things. Like that stripe, you know, could be used with anything. And then the last thing I wanted to show you were these iridescent snowflakes. Now these are from the Whimsy and Wonder suite. So they're from a completely different suite, but they are just absolutely perfect to use with these little guys as a backdrop. So let's get started with our project. So I want to show you just a really simple kind of fun fold tonight. We call this a Z fold or a Z fold sometimes, and basically all it is your basic card base, which I've cut 4 1/8 by 5 1/2, or by 11 and then 5 1/2 when folded in half, and then you just fold the front back in half again. So super easy. You don't even really need measurements. You can make your card any size really, and then just fold it in half. So I have a black mat to just go, oops, see, everyone does that, to just go on that front here. And then I've cut a piece of Whisper White to fit that, the black mat. And I have embossed that with these folders. They come in a pack. Hopefully you can see that. One is like swirly snowflakes and one is pine needles. Oops, I've got a stamp stuck to it. And this is called Wintry 3D, and they are in the annual catalog. So I have just embossed this front piece with that the snowflake one. And then on this inside piece, I'm just gonna do another little mat here. I'm thinking that this is the piece that you'd probably end up writing on, and I'll explain that later, but I'm just gonna stamp on that quickly. So from the set, we'll use the little tree image, and I'm just gonna use black. And let me straighten that up. And I think it's okay to have black trees in a card like this where it's black and white. So I'll just stamp a few trees. Plus, these penguins are very like whimsical looking, so we can, you know, have fun with the colors and stuff. And then it's also got a little like snowflakey type stamp, and I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. So one of my favorite ways to design is to have black and white and then just one color, even just a little bit of that color, so it's just quite impactful. And then we'll go ahead and put that inside. On the front, or when you're looking at the front, you can obviously see the inside of the card even when the card is closed, so to speak. So we'll go ahead and repeat that black matting. And then for this piece, what I've done here, and I pre-did that, is I've left this side flat because it's very hard to stamp your words if it's been embossed. But I've embossed that half, which is basically the width of the folder, and then just use some of the words from the Penguin Place and just stamp them strategically so it didn't interfere, or I should say the embossing didn't interfere with the stamping. But that way when it's closed, you see the embossing virtually continuously here. So you could, write your message here and a little bit here because you know it won't be seen. So hopefully that makes sense. Then on the front, now we want to do our little penguin. I might just set that aside here. So I've got from the Layering Circles dies, which is a must, I think, because you cannot cut a circle any other way than with dies or punches. So you need to have some circle dies or punches. And then I've got the little feet. This is the penguin body stamped out of the black glitter paper. You may not have noticed that in the catalog. It was from the Halloween section of last year's mini catalog, and then it came back in our annual catalog. And then you have like the detail of the penguin, which I've punched out in white. I'm gonna have to pull that closer to me so I can see. And I'm just gonna stamp the little nose there on the face. And this I've just punched out of white, and then that will go onto our penguin. And then I've punched out the little feet, and these little feet are in the on the punch in Coastal Cabana. I wanted to try the Coastal Cabana. Who says penguins have to be orange and black? We can, like I said, we can just be a little bit creative. Now there are stamps for the eyes, but I wanted to use these matte black dots just to give it that little bit more dimension, particularly when you have kind of a clean and simple card. These little elements of dimension just make all the difference. Isn't he cute? I think he's adorable. All right, then for a little bit of background, I almost can't seem to make a card without the blending brush these days. I don't know what we did before we had these. I'm just going to use that little bit of smoky slate onto that white circle. And I want to say this is the second largest circle in that set if you're wanting to recreate this tonight. And I'm nervous to get a big blob, so I'm being a little bit gentle with this. But there we go. I think that's good enough. You could also do a blue background, but I did want the little feet and the nose to just really pop out, so I've left those as the only color. And we'll put him up on our circle, and then we'll go ahead and put that onto the black scallop circle. Okay, pretty cute so far. Now we want to put this onto our card so it's kind of half on and half off, so it's centered in your card. And it also gives that interest. Like I said, when you have a card that's relatively simple in design, you want to have a lot of texture, I think. A lot of using your dimensionals and having, you know, the different interest in the layers. This Be Cool, Be Chill, Be Merry I thought was actually pretty fun. And so I've stamped that on black with the white embossing. And oh my gosh, this penguin is so cute. You don't really want the exact same words on the front as you have on the inside. Well, I don't think. But one of the fun things about this one is you can just take your scissors and just take off that Be Merry. And then that Be Cool, Be Chill, I'm gonna put in my little container of pre-done words, and I'll have that for another day. Okay, and then again, in the interest of keeping it interesting, I'm gonna put it off to the side there. You could center it right under the penguin if you prefer that, but I like it like this. And then now we couldn't do a card without ribbon, but I'll show you how we're gonna do this. We're not gonna tie it. We're just gonna make a knot like this and then cut it very small, so you just have this little knot. And I love this black and white gingham ribbon. I think we'll be using this a lot. And then use a little glue dot, and we're just going to give him a little bow tie. Isn't that adorable? That might be a bit long, but I actually am going to leave it because I think it's cute. We will just put a couple of little sparklies on this guy. Do you guys love him or what? I think he's so cute. And then inside you've just got the little trees and this and a little space to write. I think he's adorable. So what do you think? Is it all right to have blue feet? Actually, now that I say that, that sounds a little bit cold. But and then earlier today, I did him in Merry Merlot. So another different color. And this time I used the sequins on that. So they're not really sparkly, but they're kind of an opaque white. and then inside did the Mary Merlot snowflakes. Let me show you another few samples with this guy. Well, actually not necessarily with this guy. This one I showed you a few weeks ago. This is with the Counting Sheep set, but what I wanted to show you was these papers, and behind is actually the Penguin Playmates papers. So just as an example, that those papers don't have to be used as penguins or with the penguins, or even wintry. They can be quite general to be used with other images. And then these ones are actually ones that I made at a team retreat with Ellen DeWilt. She actually designed this and taught this to us, and then this was a little gift that she gave us. So these have been stamped rather than punched. So you see how the stamps work just perfectly with the punch as well. So you can use the papers, you can just use cardstock or glittery paper like this, or you can actually use the stamps. So there's lots of ways to make your different penguins. Okay, then this guy I thought was pretty cute. Now this one was designed, well, I took the design from someone named Eimir Carvel, which I hope I said that right. So this person is made it in different colors with different images, but I really liked the concept. And here you see where I've used those iridescent snowflakes just behind that really adorable polar bear. And then I actually cut out the polar bear, and then I cut out the scarf out of a second polar bear and put that up on dimensionals just to give it a little more interest. But that's a really cute easy card, and you could make quite a few of those with this guy. And then I just put a little tree inside. This one is another cute one using the polar bear again out of the papers, and also the snowflake behind him, and this time just using your little squares and scraps. So this is a great way to use up your little scrap papers, a really good design, and then you can just put your image of choice using up the images off of the papers down here. I just made some simple cards because I like to show you a variety of 3D and simple cards and fun folds, and these ones were just little 3x3 cards. Aren't they adorable? And using that great Stitched with Whimsy set, and then just use a little blending brush in the background. This is the penguin from the printed paper, just punched out, and this is the penguin punched with the glitter paper, and then just this time, instead of tying a knot, I just wrapped it around him like a scarf would be, and then used actually the Hello Little one to show you these penguins can be used not only for Christmas and birthday, but they would also make quite an adorable little baby card too with a gift, and that's why I added the little hearts with that one. And then the last one is similar, just this time on one of the white note cards and envelopes. These are the pre-done cards and envelopes, and just put the little penguin with the snowflake and then the happy birthday, just for a nice simple, clean and simple card. So there you go. I hope that gives you some ideas. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you later on, if not next week, if not sooner. Good night, everyone.